Is the system broken? Does capitalism need a fix?
No, the system. It's not. It's not. Look, we're sitting here. There's a lot of unusual aspects to this moment in time, where the passions and the passions are the greatest at a moment when things aren't really in the greatest distress we've ever faced in our lives. I think the two parts of the capitalism kind of, if you will, socialism debate are really how do you allocate the benefits and the productive side, what you produce out of the system. I think that's very, very fair game for a conversation. The other part of it is of socialism debate versus capitalism is how much of the economic system should be run by the government. Now it's almost hard for me to believe. Only people without experience in this matter could think what we really need is to have the government run a much bigger section of the economy, because I know I really want the transportation system to be like Amtrak all the way through, or housing to be like the New York City Housing Authority, which is government-run housing, or there are great people who work for the Veterans Administration. Some people get great care there, but I don't know that everybody wants their healthcare system to be run and to be waiting online for weeks for an appointment like some of our veterans do in connection with the VA system. So for me, having the government run more and more of the economy is not a way anybody would go who ever experienced the government running a bigger part of the economy.
This isn't necessarily a conversation, though, of capitalism versus socialism. It's even the likes of a Ray Dalio or Mark Benioff suggest that capitalism in and of itself could be tweaked. Maybe more my word than theirs, but it's the idea.
Of course, I agree. Well, of course, everything can be tweaked, and these are names. I try to break it down to you into allocation of, the allocation or reallocation of wealth on the one hand, or how much of the system should be run by the government as two bifurcated things. The labels are distracting. I think that's really what the debates are about. Should there be private health care, or should there be an entirely government-administered system? And on paper, it always looks like the government system would be effective because you don't have anybody hiving off profits. But it's that profit motive that makes sure you get the best people in the jobs. People work hard, longer hours than they should. You get rid of incompetent people. You reward people who work especially hard and are especially good. You shut down things that don't work, even if it's in some congressman's district and the congressman wishes those jobs were preserved for his district. The private sector can behave in ways that people in government cannot. So no shade on the people in the government. My dad worked for the post office. But again, look at the post office.
So how do you think about the issue of income inequality? People say it's the preeminent issue right now of our time, and certainly it is one of the principal risks to the market. The longer this lingers,
well, it's the inequality is the risk to the stability of society, and so I think we would have to have less of it. What are the root causes of it? I would say, interest rate policy. You lower interest rates, the value of assets go up. People who have assets get richer. People who don't have assets aren't benefited from the inflation of asset prices. So that technology, the advance of technology creates that kind of income bifurcation. Uber comes along and efficiently, every driver never has an empty car. They're driving around, so maybe you need 30,000, making this number up, but maybe you need 30,000 fewer taxis in New York City than you had before. Well, that value goes to the shareholders and the initial venture capitalists who created Uber. They get richer. Meanwhile, 30,000 cab drivers lose their job. So there's a migration of wealth from labor to capital. So that gets repeated because of technology. So people who create the technology get the wealth that comes from needing fewer people to do the job, and so there are fewer people employed. Now, I'll tell you what's happening at the same time. Other industries are being created, there are more services, and we have low unemployment in this country. And over time, low unemployment means that new ideas come along and they have to bid up the wages of existing workers to pry them from their other jobs. And that's in fact what's happening now. And so wages are starting to rise. Are they going fast enough? Do I wish it happened sooner? Do I wish it would have converged sooner? Yes. Should we just wait for that to happen? No, I'm for tinkering with the system. I've never met something I couldn't tinker with and try to improve.